Manchester United ready to let ONANA go. Saudi Arabia offers lifeline. Welcome to Unite United News, the most trusted voice in Manchester United journalism. For years, we have been your reliable source for breaking news, honest analysis, and insider information that matters to every Red Devils supporter. When the football world gets confusing, when rumors fly everywhere, when you need to know what's really happening at Old Trafford, this is where you come. Today, we bring you one of the biggest stories of the season that could reshape United's entire goalkeeping future. The moment everything changed at Old Trafford. Imagine walking into your manager's office expecting to discuss your future, only to be told that the club no longer sees you as part of their plans. This is exactly what happened to Andre ONANA when he sat down with new Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim. The conversation was direct and honest. Amorim looked ONANA in the eye and told him that Manchester United were heading in a different direction. The message was clear: you can leave, and we won't stop you. For a goalkeeper who cost £47 million just 2 years ago, this must have felt like a punch to the stomach. But sometimes in football, things just don't work out the way anyone hoped they would. How did we get here? To understand this story properly, we need to go back to the beginning. When Manchester United signed Andre ONANA from Inter Milan in 2023, there was genuine excitement among fans and staff alike. Here was a goalkeeper who had won the Champions League with Inter, a player who could pass the ball like a midfielder and make saves like the best shot-stoppers in the world. On paper, he looked like the perfect fit for what United wanted to become. The 29-year-old Cameroonian keeper was supposed to solve United's goalkeeping problems once and for all. After years of uncertainty between the posts, fans thought they had found their long-term answer. But football doesn't always follow the script. From almost his first game in a United shirt, ONANA struggled to find his best form. The saves that looked routine for other keepers seemed to cause him problems. The passing that was supposed to be his strength sometimes put United in dangerous positions. The errors that changed everything. Every Manchester United fan can remember specific moments when ONANA's mistakes cost the team points. These weren't just small errors that happened to every player. These were big mistakes in important games that made people question whether he was good enough for this level. The Champions League was particularly painful. United needed their goalkeeper to be rock solid in Europe's biggest competition, but instead they got inconsistent performances that contributed to their early exit from the tournament. Each mistake seemed to knock ONANA's confidence a little bit more. And when a goalkeeper loses confidence, it becomes a vicious cycle. The more mistakes you make, the less confident you become. The less confident you become, the more mistakes you make. Fans started to notice that even when ONANA made good saves, he didn't look comfortable. There was always a sense that another error was just around the corner. This is not the feeling you want from your number one goalkeeper. The financial hit that made things worse. As if the poor performances weren't bad enough, ONANA then had to deal with a financial blow that made his situation even more difficult. When Manchester United failed to qualify for the Champions League last season, it triggered a clause in ONANA's contract that reduced his salary by 25%. This wasn't just a small cut. This was a significant amount of money that directly affected his family's future. Think about it from ONANA's point of view. Not only was he struggling on the pitch and getting criticized by fans and media, but now he was also earning less money because the team hadn't performed well enough to reach Europe's top competition. This financial hit made ONANA push for a new contract that would protect his earnings. But Manchester United weren't interested in giving him more money when his performances hadn't justified his current wages, let alone higher ones. Amorim's vision doesn't include ONANA. When Ruben Amorim arrived as Manchester United's new manager, many players hoped for a fresh start. New managers often give players clean slates and chances to prove themselves all over again. But Amorim had already made up his mind about what he wanted from his goalkeeper. He studied ONANA's performances, looked at the available options, and decided that the Cameroonian wasn't part of his long-term plans. This wasn't a personal decision against ONANA as a person. By all accounts, he's a professional who works hard and tries his best. But Amorim has a specific way he wants his team to play, and he needs a goalkeeper who fits perfectly into that system. The manager's tactical philosophy requires complete trust between him and his goalkeeper. If there are doubts about a player's ability to perform consistently at the highest level, then it's better to make a change sooner rather than later. Amorim showed courage by making this decision quickly. Many managers would have given ONANA more time, hoping things would improve. Instead, Amorim was honest about his intentions and gave ONANA the chance to find a new club where he might be happier. Enter Sen Lammens. The signing of young Belgian goalkeeper Sen Lammens tells us everything we need to know about Manchester United's thinking. Instead of keeping ONANA and hoping he'd improve, they invested in a completely different type of keeper. Lammens represents the future that Amorim wants to build. He's young, hungry, and fits the profile of goalkeeper that the new manager believes can succeed at Old Trafford. This signing sent a clear message to ONANA. His time at United was coming to an end whether he liked it or not. The club had moved on mentally, and now it was just a matter of finding him a new home. Some might argue that United gave up on ONANA too quickly. After all, many great players have taken time to settle at new clubs. But sometimes managers have to make tough decisions based on what they see in training and games. Saudi Arabia emerges as the solution. Here's where the story gets really interesting. Just when it looked like ONANA might be stuck at Manchester United with no way out, the Saudi Pro League emerged as a potential lifeline. Saudi Arabian clubs have been making big moves in recent years, attracting top players from Europe with huge salaries and ambitious projects. For ONANA, this could be the perfect escape route from his Old Trafford nightmare. The Saudi clubs have the money to match or even exceed what ONANA was earning at United before his pay cut. They also offer him the chance to be the undisputed number one at his new club, something he can no longer guarantee at Manchester United. From United's perspective, selling ONANA to Saudi Arabia makes perfect sense. They can recoup some of the money they spent on him, get his wages off their books, and clear the way for Lammens to establish himself as the new number one. The Saudi Pro League has become increasingly attractive to European players who want to earn good money while still playing competitive football. The standard of the league has improved significantly, and many former Premier League stars have found success there. What this means for all parties. For Andre Onana, moving to Saudi Arabia could be exactly what his career needs. He would get the chance to rebuild his confidence as the undisputed first-choice keeper at a club that really wants him. The financial package would likely be very attractive, possibly even better than what he was earning at United before the pay cut. This would secure his family's future and show that his career is still moving in the right direction. Playing in a less pressurized environment might also help Onana rediscover the form that made Inter Milan such a successful team. Sometimes players just need a change of scenery to get back to their best level. For Manchester United, this move would solve multiple problems at once. They would free up wages to spend on other players, remove the uncertainty around the goalkeeper position, and give Amorim the clean slate he wants to build his team. The club could also use any transfer fee to invest in other areas of the squad that need strengthening. Goalkeeper was always going to be sorted one way or another, but United still need improvements in midfield and attack. The broader context of United's transfer strategy. This situation with Onana fits into a bigger pattern of how Manchester United are trying to change their approach to transfers and player management. In recent years, the club has been criticized for keeping players too long, paying high wages to underperforming stars, and failing to make tough decisions when needed. The Onana situation shows they're trying to be more decisive. Rather than hoping things will improve and wasting another season, United are cutting their losses and moving forward with a different plan. This kind of ruthless decision-making is what successful clubs do. The fact that they're willing to take a financial hit on Onana shows that they're prioritizing on-field success over balancing the books perfectly. Sometimes you have to spend money to save money in the long run. Other transfer news that affects this story. While the Onana situation dominates the headlines, it's worth looking at other transfer news that shows how Manchester United are planning for the future. The club made a move for Atletico Madrid midfielder Conor Gallagher during the summer transfer window. However, United wanted to loan him while Atletico would only agree to a permanent sale. This shows United are being careful with their spending while still trying to improve the squad. The club is also expected to make another attempt to sign Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba in January after failing to get him in the summer. This suggests they have a clear plan for strengthening their midfield. Perhaps most revealing is the news about why United didn't sign Emiliano Martinez instead of Lamens. Villa's demands of £200,000 per week in wages and a £40 million transfer fee were too much for United to accept. This shows that while United are willing to spend money, they're being more sensible about wages and transfer fees than in previous years. They won't be held to ransom by selling clubs or player demands. What happens next? The January transfer window is still a few months away, but discussions between United and Saudi clubs are already happening. This suggests that a move could happen sooner rather than later. For this transfer to work, several things need to fall into place. A Saudi club needs to make an offer that United find acceptable. ONANA needs to be convinced that moving to Saudi Arabia is the right step for his career. And all the paperwork and negotiations need to be completed smoothly. The good news is that all parties seem motivated to make this happen. United want ONANA gone, ONANA wants regular football and good wages, and Saudi clubs want to add proven European talent to their squads. If the move goes through, it will mark the end of one of the most disappointing transfers in recent Manchester United history. But it will also clear the way for a new chapter that could be much more successful. The bigger picture for Manchester United. This whole situation raises important questions about how Manchester United evaluate and sign players. How did they get it so wrong with ONANA? What lessons can they learn for future transfers? The truth is that not every transfer works out, no matter how much research you do or how logical the signing seems at the time. Inter Milan were happy to sell ONANA, which should have been a warning sign, but United thought they could get the best out of him. What matters now is how United handle the situation. By moving ONANA on quickly and bringing in Lamens, they're showing that they can adapt and change course when needed. This kind of flexibility will be crucial as Amorim tries to build his team. If players don't fit his system or aren't good enough for his standards, the club needs to be willing to make changes regardless of how much money was spent originally. Fan reactions and expectations. Manchester United fans have had mixed reactions to this news. Some are sad to see ONANA leave without really getting a proper chance to show his best form. Others are relieved that the uncertainty around the goalkeeper position might finally be resolved. What most fans agree on is that something had to change. Watching your goalkeeper make crucial mistakes in big games is one of the most frustrating experiences in football. If ONANA couldn't handle the pressure at United, then it's better for everyone if he finds a club where he can be successful. The fans are also excited to see what Lamens can do as the new number one. While he's young and inexperienced, there's hope that he can grow into the role and become United's long-term solution between the posts. Learning from this experience. The ONANA situation teaches us several important lessons about modern football and transfer strategy. First, even expensive signings can fail, and clubs need to be prepared to cut their losses when things aren't working out. Holding on to players who aren't performing just because they cost a lot of money is bad business. Second, new managers should be given the freedom to make their own decisions about players, even if those players were signed recently by previous managers. Amorim's willingness to move on from ONANA shows strong leadership. Third, the global nature of football means there are always options for finding new homes for players. The Saudi Pro League has become a valuable market for European clubs looking to sell players who need fresh starts. The financial impact. From a financial perspective, this move makes sense for Manchester United, even if they don't recoup the full £47 million they spent on ONANA. Getting his wages off the books frees up money to spend on other players. The transfer fee, whatever it ends up being, can be reinvested in the squad. And avoiding another season of poor performances might save United points that could be worth millions in prize money and qualifying for competitions. The Saudi clubs have shown they're willing to pay good money for established European players, so United should be able to negotiate a reasonable fee for ONANA. What this says about Amorim. This situation tells us a lot about Ruben Amorim as a manager and how he plans to run things at Manchester United. He's not afraid to make tough decisions, even about expensive players who haven't been given long to prove themselves. He has a clear vision of how he wants his team to play, and he's not willing to compromise on that vision. Amorim is also honest in his communication with players. Rather than keeping ONANA guessing about his future, he told him straight that he could look for a new club. This kind of direct communication is refreshing and helps everyone plan better. The road ahead. As we look toward the future, this ONANA situation could be remembered as a turning point for Manchester United. It shows that the club is willing to make difficult decisions and move on from expensive mistakes. If Lamens develops into a top goalkeeper and ONANA finds success in Saudi Arabia, everyone wins. United get their long-term solution between the posts, and ONANA gets his career back on track. The January transfer window will be crucial for making this happen. United will want to complete the sale as quickly as possible so they can focus on other areas of the squad that need attention. Questions still to be answered. While we know that United are willing to sell ONANA and Saudi clubs are interested, there are still several questions that need answers. Which specific Saudi club will make the strongest offer? How much will United be able to get for ONANA? Will the goalkeeper be happy to move to Saudi Arabia, or does he have other preferences? These questions will be answered over the coming weeks and months as negotiations continue and the January transfer window approaches. Final thoughts and what it all means. As we wrap up this comprehensive look at the Andre Onana situation, it's clear that this story is about much more than just one goalkeeper leaving Manchester United. This is about a club learning to make tough decisions quickly rather than letting problems drag on for years. It's about a new manager being given the freedom to build his team the way he wants. And it's about the global nature of modern football providing opportunities for fresh starts when things don't work out. For United news readers, this story represents everything we stand for: honest reporting, detailed analysis, and the full context you need to understand what's really happening at your club. Andre Onana's time at Manchester United hasn't gone according to plan, but that doesn't make him a bad goalkeeper or a bad person. Sometimes the chemistry between player and club just isn't right, and it's better for everyone to admit that and move on. The Saudi Pro League opportunity gives Onana a chance to rebuild his career while earning good money in a competitive environment. For United, it solves a problem and clears the way for their chosen replacement to establish himself. As always, United News will continue following this story closely. We'll bring you updates on the negotiations, reactions from all parties involved, and analysis of what it means for Manchester United's future. This is why you come to United News, because we don't just report the headlines, we give you the complete picture. We understand that being a Manchester United fan means caring about every detail, every decision, and every development that affects your club. Stay with us for all the latest news, honest opinions, and expert analysis. Because when it comes to Manchester United, United News is the only source you need to trust completely.